I've given 2 weeks notice. And me, that alcoholic bravado, me easy, you know, not knowing, hey, life out there, bro.
It's rough.
So 2 weeks.
...2014, you come back to Kenya.
I come back after Chomaing now. Let me put this aside if you
Okay,
don't mind.
later.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of people might be listening to this part and thinking maybe I'm a spoiled brat. And to some degree, for sure, I definitely manipulated the whole system, or rather the situation, but not because I'm a bad guy. That's just how it is. There's no addictions and principles that they're polar opposites. Yeah. So anyway, I come back and of course, shame, even to myself, even out to friends who are back here. Like, you guys, you went, did you finish? What's up?
Guy.
So I leave that vague for the most part. I leave it very ambiguous. But the natural thing is, if you did finish, you come back, you do something called a conversion of your license, and then now you start tarmacking for jobs. So for the most part, the narrative, I'm leaving it in the air. I'm not telling guys I finished, but I'm not telling guys I didn't finish. Yeah. And in my warped way of thinking, I still think I'm just gonna go and enroll at another school, Latina in Nairobi. Guys are just waiting to pay for me. Not knowing, guys, at this point I've reached like the beginning of the end. Yeah. So
now, like, my guys are talking about your parents.
My parents, yeah, primarily, because they're the ones who can finance. No one else can finance you like that. So, so now, see, I'm living in their house after having lived alone for almost 2 years. So it's like now they want to see, is there any remote level of remorse? Is there an actual effort to try and like fix things? But at this point, I'm so far gone. I'm not even thinking along the lines of what are they thinking. Yeah, it's just a continuation, but now I'm home. Yeah, it's. When I look back again, I'm saying, it's like I was merciless, yeah. And it's like you don't have a conscience almost. So obviously, they start observing my habits. So obviously, by day 1, day 2, leaving the house, coming back drunk, becomes the order of the day. By month 2.
And were you living in the house, or did you have a house on the side?
I was living in the house, in my parents' house.
So you come home and you pass them drunk?
I'll come home. If I come home late, the time that my parents, they never gave us a key. I never had a key for the gate. So either you come in the cooks, early morning, super morning, or if you come, you will sit outside till morning, till the house have now enters to go and open the main house. That's the only time you'll enter the house. Yeah.
So you'd sit outside?
I'd either try make sure I'm out till chair, so by the time I'm coming back, it's morning.
Yeah.
Or if, God forbid, I was too late and I came back, I'd wait it out, man. There's so many times I sat. I remember we were sitting near the pump, just sitting till morning. There are times I'd climb the gate, enter one of their cars and swatch inside, because the cars were left open so they could be washed in the morning. I'd enter and swatch. In the morning when the guy comes to wash, I chuck, I go and enter. They put razor wire because of me. Razor and electric fence because of me. Because of that climbing shenanigan. Like that. You guys, if you're out, you're out. And I'm not saying this to glorify or glamorize. It's just how pathetic it gets. Where naturally a normal person, you have access like this, you have a head start. This should be something that you use to your advantage. At the time, you know, you have access to. My dad was not mean with cars. If you're adult driving age, if you're responsible, you can ask me for the car, do your thing, bring it in good time. If it has fuel, doesn't mean now you go to Naivasha, you know. And my younger brother, to his credit, he used that whole system to his advantage in a very positive, responsible way. Me, I used it for the opposite.
And let me add, and this one I think I some level of experience allows me to talk. The Barbies, people with a lot, we are so many of us, myself included, who took this opportunity, this silver spoon that was handed to us in life, and for majority of life, abused it. So this, I'm not saying this story is not common with people who lack, or people who are not as gifted with the silver spoon, or who weren't born with a silver spoon. But I know so many people who have this wealth, opportunities, head start in life that abused it. And I'll start with myself.
And that's big of you to admit. Even as I'm admitting it, I keep feeling like, wow, you know, how embarrassing is this? But it's important to mention, it's not a class thing. Whatever version that your parents have offered, an addict will abuse whatever it is. So I'll use the example. If your folks have a private jet, you'll abuse it. Yeah, if your folks can give you a black key, you'll abuse it. So it's not a class thing. It's not because you're a Barbie.
I get what you mean.
Addiction is...
it doesn't pick. It doesn't choose.
It's
not yeah, okay.
And the manipulation is not a factor of whether you're from wealth or not. If you're an addict in the slums, whatever version of advantage you'll be given, you won't use it for the greater good. You'll use it to ruin yourself. Yeah.
You adapt to the environment that you're put in.
Yes.
It, not you. It's the addiction, the manifestation of that addiction manifests, depends, doesn't matter what environment it's put in.
Yeah.
If that environment has lack, it finds ways to abuse that environment.
Yes.
If it has the private jet, it finds ways to abuse it.
Yeah. So never don't be a victim of feeling bad for where you come from.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That is what you've said there is so powerful. I think just sometimes what happens is when you had a lot, it's like what you're saying. When the realization, when you come out of it, you realize I had so much more than very many people. I shouldn't have abused a lot of these things.
Yeah. Then I'll flip that as well and add, in terms of knowledge about how the world works from experience. Through all of that, I feel I've passed people who are in their, some people who are in their 50s, and I'm 33. Through all of that. So on one hand, I ruined a very huge advantage. But through all that treachery, I came out with a wealth of knowledge that guys take a lifetime.
Wow.
You know, when you, again, I like using the knowledge of coloring within the lines. When you color within the lines, your growth is steady but slow. When you color outside, you end up learning some very dramatic lessons earlier, if you survive it. So you come out ahead. You understand?
Extremely well. I fully understand what you said. It becomes your advantage.
Yes.
It becomes the advantage because it was very few people go through that kind of level of training, life training.
And I'll throw in the Bible. The prodigal son. Why was the big bro jealous? This guy colored outside the lines, went and lived La Vida Loca, found out all the lessons he needed to learn, came back, the dad bestowed him with everything. Meanwhile, this guy was told, you had everything all along. You know, you had it all along. This guy had the guts to go and see and survived and came back, was clothed. Yeah.
That's powerful. In fact, when you bring the Bible, I look at Moses, look at the madness he went through, look at David, look at the madness he went through, look at Joseph, look at the madness. It's like this hardship comes with a different kind of elevation.
Yes. Look at most...
Let's even talk about you. You're the second youngest person, if not the youngest person, to sit on this seat. And you're speaking in ways that there's so much wealth and value in the stuff that is leaving your mouth. I say leaving the prime real estate between your 2 ears. And you're speaking it not because you went to school, but you went to the school of life.
Yeah, I lived it. And I need to emphasize the humility element of it. Because when there's a friend of mine, we share a similar story in terms of addiction, very close friend of mine, and he's also on the come up. He's a few years younger in terms of sobriety. And at times he looks at my life and he admires, and I'm like, I always have to remind him just how bad it was also. Sometimes also from the outside looking in, people can forget how bad things were. So I'm back in my parents' house.
Okay.
And my circumstance is not improving. Yeah. I need to emphasize to your listeners, it can come across as, it manifests through what could be looked at as just immoral behavior. But this thing has taken control. By the time you're sacrificing advantage your relationships, because you don't want to deal with anyone who will tell you to stop. You don't want to have a good relationship with your parent because you're still going to drink that day and it's going to upset them and you can't help it. You can't stop. Whether or not they give you the best sound advice, in that moment you're not stopping. Yeah. So I continue like this. Eventually it's too much. They're like, we can't have this in our house. How is idea 9? You're just living here and you come home, you find food, it'll never click. If you can go and mind you, I'm not getting any finances, no cash. I'm just finding ways and means.
You're hustling for the drink.
Hustling, conning, man, credits. Using my gift of gab to get credit for like alcohol. And then you never see me again. Showing videos of me flying. And someone's like, this guy, there's no way he'll let us down. He just wants 2 quarters. He'll be back. You'll never see me again.
Wow.
Yeah, so such things, yeah. So I'm kicked out. Eventually there's a meeting call. The same was there who took me the first time. I come home here, I'm late. Before that. So I'm told I can't just be a bum. Find something you're going to do. But of course not flying. No one's paying that kind of money. Just find something. You're not just going to stay in this house. So because I have this passion, I'm like, Homeboys. So I enroll at Homeboys for radio presenting. So I'm here, I'm 24. These are high school. Most of the guys in my class are high school leavers. Guys who are doing that, when you check high school, there's driving, computers. Yes. Some have done, now the guys are doing Homeboys DJing. So I was drunk all through. Like, all through. I think I used to be given 4 sock a day for fare. And if in case you decide you want to buy Tiani, Jibambe. So my dad would drop me on Uru Highway. I go towards
Baricho.
And of course I was supposed to jab, but I found out about that Kadaraja for opposite Central Bank. We can just cross over and walk. So I was like, I can save this little fare. It'll allow me to go and buy a Mickey Nzuko ahead at Nakumat. So I'd go before class, man. By the time, and let me tell you, there's a stage of addiction where it's almost romantic, your relationship with booze. Like, I would figure that first quarter, you start getting that warmth in your tummy, you start getting that sweat, and you just start feeling that effect kicking in, and it was like, yani, it's a feeling you can't describe, man. It's so before class, I was always lit. There was a day I even blacked out at Homeboys. G-Money once said, there's someone in this class who gets drunk every day. I think he was trying to find a polite way of saying, you guys, you have an issue. In fact, one day I wish we could have that conversation. I don't know if he remembers me, but through that, weirdly enough, there's some things I picked up about, like I learned about how a frequency is bought, like a radio frequency. There are a few tenets I learned within that warped way. So when I think back, God was also just putting me through some version of training. Like it was not for nothing. Even as much as I picked something innocuous, just do something,
But now you're drinking every day.
Every day, all through it. You see there you're getting a certificate, whether just attend, you get a cert. So at some point, obviously, now it's the same as I was saying earlier. I just wanted to throw in the Homeboys part so I don't skip it.
Yeah.
It's even on my CV. I always make sure Homeboys MTA.
I got a certificate.
So I come home one day, I'm lit, I'm seeing cars, I'm like, I know these cars. I enter, just stand faces, stand vibes. And I'm kicked out. I'm given 2 weeks notice. And that alcoholic bravado, easy, not knowing, hey, life out there, bro. So 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, I can't even string the wherewithal to actually find a house because I'm too late. So last minute, I think the last day, I found a SQ in Langata. When I think back, even me going to Langata, what did I think? Because Langata, for an alcoholic, man. So my mzee pays for me 1 month rent. He gives me, I think, 5K if I'm not wrong. And off you go.
Does he give you the talk?
I know, he said a prayer for me.
Do you feel like they had given up now?
Yeah, at this point, they had had it.
Did you feel like love was gone?
Peace was gone, not love.
Explain.
Peace is that we don't know where this guy is. We know for sure he's getting wasted. He's in the house half the day doing nothing. How can you be settled as a parent knowing you have a guy who's bumming? Ama is going you're going to homeboys, but you're drunk all through. They just didn't want me in that space anymore. And then you come and eat their food. You're 24. You're a man. What are you doing here acting like you're a man? What's up, you know?
What about you and your siblings?
My younger bro was already in the UK doing university. My elder bro has moved out. And of course, he visits periodically. He's just been given all the stories, you know. Also doesn't know necessarily how to approach. For him, for the longest, in fact, up until a few years ago, he's been one of my biggest supporters later. Because my bro is a guy of facts. Eh? So when he went and did his own research and realized, wait a minute, this guy is not a bad guy. It's not just that he's a bad guy. For the longest, he treated me like, you guys, this is just you being irresponsible, you know. So anyway, I get kicked out. I go to LA with my 5K or something. Of course, in 2 days, that 5K is gone. You guys, let me tell you, nilikula njaa.